Hi, my name is Zach, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can automate your client onboarding process using Make. Now, if this is your first time hearing about Make, it's basically a tool that allows you to create automated workflows by connecting multiple apps together. And in this specific scenario, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a client onboarding form that is either going to be filled out by the client or maybe a member of the sales team after signing on a client, just saying what their basic information is, first name, last name, company they work for, and then what kind of questions they may have and what they look to actually get out of the service. And then from that form, we're going to take those form responses and we're going to create a Google Drive folder for that client. And this folder is going to be used to hold a Google Doc file that we're also going to create that's going to have the form responses in it. So you don't actually have to go into the Google form and find the exact response or go into a Google Sheet to find it. It'll all be nice and contained inside the same folder. And then this folder can also be used to store client assets, such as like if you were a graphics designer and you were working on some images for a client, and you could just drag and drop or upload those files to the client folder so they're all nicely, neatly organized and you don't lose them. You could also use it for putting like invoices and quotes, maybe contracts you have with the clients, just pretty much anything that's to deal with this client in particular, you could put into the folder so it's easy to find later on. And then we're also going to send the client a email just saying, hey, thanks for joining, glad to have you here, and we look forward to working with you. And then lastly, we're going to send a message in Slack to the team, just letting people know that a new client has signed up, and also provide a link to both the Google Drive folder and also the Google Doc file. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first thing we're going to look at here is this is the client onboarding form that we're going to be using. And as you can see, it's pretty basic. It's going to have an email field, first name, last name, company name, how can we help you, what questions do you have for us. And this is the Make scenario. And this is exactly what you'll see as soon as you click on the button to create a new scenario in Make. I haven't done any changes to it whatsoever just yet. So let's go ahead and start adding the Google Form module. And we're going to select the correct account. And then we're going to search for, if I can, well, doesn't want to move out of the way, but we're just going to go ahead and search for the onboarding form that we were just looking at. And it's searching. All right, and this is the form ID, and we can see that it ends in W29KS. And if we jump right back over to that onboarding form, we'll see that it also ends in W29KS. So this is the form that we are looking for. So let's go ahead and OK. And we're going to say to start from now on. We don't really want to choose manually or have it start on a specific date. And now what we're going to do is we're going to submit this form. So that way we have some sample data to use with setting up the rest of this scenario. So let's go ahead and fill this out. Example at example.com. John Doe. We'll say Acme Co. And fix my problems. And when can I expect my first project to be completed? Submit. All right, now if we jump right back over to Make and we right click Run this module only, you'll see it found the form response. This is the ID, that's the email address we entered in. And if we go through the multiple layers here, we'll see that John is the first name. And then we could also just check company name real quick. And you'll see it's Acme Co. So this is the response we just submitted. I'm not going to go through each one of them. And now let's go ahead and add the Google Drive step. And we're going to select create a folder. And now we're going to place all of these new folders inside one parent folder called Clients. And for the new folder name, I am going to use the company name. So we're going to select the company name collection here. And then we're just going to go down this path of text answers till we get to the value and select that. Hit OK. And actually, let's go ahead and, you know what? No, we're going to wait on that. So we're going to go ahead now and add the Google Docs module. Create a new document. And for the name, I am going to use the company name again. Map that in there. And then I'm going to put a dash form responses. Let's go ahead and put client onboarding form responses. And now for the content, I actually have a template here that we're going to use. So copy that, and now I'm going to right click and click paste as plain text, so that way it keeps the formatting. And then we're going to map in the value for these fields. So for the name, I'm going to map in the first name, space, last name, company name, I'm going to map in the same one we used earlier. Email is going to be the respondent email. And now when we get to date of submission, we can do one of two things. We can just map this last submitted time, but if we do that, go ahead and show you going back to step one here, download output bundles. The value that's going to be used is this right here. This is in UTC time. It's a timestamp. So it does tell us the date and the time that it was submitted, but it's not in the prettiest of formats. So what I'm actually going to do, go back over here, is I'm going to use a built-in function that Make has called format date. And we're going to map, let's see here, the last submitted time we were just looking at. That's going to be the first part of this function. Because if you look at the function here, it kind of goes into three spots. There's the date, then the format we want it to be in, and then the time zone. And the time zone, if you look at it, it has some brackets around it. That means it's optional, so we don't have to include that if we don't want to. But we're going to go ahead and throw that in here today. So let's see. We already mapped that in, and now we're going to do the format. And a great way to figure out which format you want to use is to actually go to make.com, and they have a format. Let me just pull that up real quick. All right, and now if we're looking at it here, let me just resize this. All right, now we're looking at the tokens for date/time formatting. these are the different formats that we can use. It's the token we want to use to get a specific output. So for example, we use 4 capital Y's, we'll get 1970, 1971, 2029, just as some examples here. It's going to be the 4-digit year instead of the 2-digit. So what we're going to do here is I want to use the full month name. So we're going to go over here and let me actually adjust this. Okay, so now we're going to add the month for months here, and then we're going to add in the dates. So we're going to use 2 capital D's. Now I'm just adding a space in between each one here. And then we're going to use the 4 capital Y's for the 4-digit year. All right, and now for the time zone, what we're going to want to do is find the time zone in the TZ database. So what we're going to want to look for, I am in the Denver metro area. So if I search for Denver, found it right here. We're looking for America/Denver. Add that in. All right, and that's all we need to do for the function. And now for what the client needs from us, we will select how can we help you. Map the value there. And then for client questions, I'm going to map the what questions do you have for us. And the drive is correct. And for the new documents location, you'll see if you click here, it's just going to give us the folders that are already in Google Drive, not the new one that we created over here in step 2. So what we're going to do is click on Map, and then we're going to go to the Google Drive module here and select folder ID. And now this should be putting the Google Doc into the folder that we're creating in step 2. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a Gmail module to send an email. And for this, I'm going to put in welcome aboard. And now for the content, one thing you'll see here is that we can use HTML tags, which we're going to want to use in order for this email to be formatted properly. So I am going to type in hi, and we're going to personalize it some by going down here, and we're going to grab the first name value again. Add a comma, and we're going to add in some line break HTML tags, just one right there. Well, actually, no, we're going to add in a second one. So this is saying go to the next line, and then I want a blank line right after this. So then we're going to skip the next line as well. And now we're going to type in welcome to Acme Inc. We're excited for our partnership. Ship together, and we will be reaching out soon. If you have any questions in the meantime, please don't hesitate to ask. Now we're going to add a couple more line breaks here. And let me go back up here and we'll add a line break there as well. All right, and that looks good to me. Oh, almost forgot to add the to. And we're going to actually use the respondent email that they provided in the form. And now, last but not least, we're going to add the Slack module to create a message. And I'm going to actually select the channel from a list, and my channel is a public one. I'm going to send it to the testing zone. All right, and now let's go ahead and type in a new client has filled out the onboarding form. Here are some important links. Google Drive folder and onboarding form response doc. Now what we're going to do is we're going to map for the Google Drive folder, go down here to the Google Drive step, and we're going to map the web view link, and then we're going to map the onboarding form response Google Doc that we created. Same thing, web view link. All right, and that should be everything. So another important thing you're going to want to do is save. Make does not automatically save the scenario, so you want to click that each time that you make changes. And also, I'm going to name this client on, if I could type today, onboarding. Yeah, we'll just leave it at client onboarding. All right, and let's go ahead and go back to our form. All right, and now we're going to submit another response. And let's go ahead and fill this out, example@example.com. And we'll just say Jane Doe this time. ABC. Call it ABC Inc. And fix my problems. When can I expect first project to be completed? Let's submit that. All right, and if we go back over here to the make scenario, we're going to hit run once, and that's going to run everything here once. And you'll see that it found the form response, it created the folder, just created a Google Doc, sent the email, and created the Slack message. So now if we take a look here, go to Slack. This is a previous test that I ran before, but you'll see this is the one that was just created. A new client has filled out the onboarding form. Here are the links. And if we click on the Google Drive folder, it takes us here to ABC Inc. And you also could see that it had the Google Doc file in there. But if we click on the Google Doc link, it takes us here with everything filled out from the previous form. And then what we can also do here, if we take a look here, we will see that this is the email that was sent. And it says, hey, hi Jane, welcome to Acme Inc. We're excited for our partnership together and we'll be reaching out soon. Have any questions? In the meantime, please don't hesitate to ask. So this is exactly the message that we had set up there before. So everything is working as expected. Now, the last thing we actually need to do here is turn it on so that it could just keep running. This current schedule is that it'll run every 15 minutes, and it's going to just keep looking out for new form responses. And that is everything. So I hope you found this super helpful. And if you have any future automations that you want to get set up, if you have any ideas, please go ahead and drop them down in the comments. I'm also going to leave a link to the blueprint file for this exact scenario in Make, so you can go ahead and steal it, download it, upload it to Make, and just plug in your account information. And I'm also going to include a list of the time zone database values that you can use, as well as a link to the different Make formatting for the date and time that you can use in there as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video again, and look forward to showing you how to do more cool things in both Make and Zapier. If you do want to see how to do this exact thing in Zapier, feel free to check it out. It's going to be somewhere around here or down in the description below. And have a good one.